Hey YouTube, it's ICU, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Google Maps app for iOS, which was recently released into Apple's App Store. Now, I'm sure as most of you are aware, with the release of iOS 6, Apple replaced the old standard Google Maps app with their own custom in-house Maps app. Well, now for those of you who are having any issues with it, you can go to the App Store and download Google Maps for free directly to your iOS-based device. And in this video, I'm just going to be going over the features of the Google Maps app and also giving you some quick comparisons between the Apple Maps app. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, now opening it up, you'll notice some immediate similarities to the Apple Maps app. Let's go ahead and start out by just going over the basic interface. So we have the search field up here at the top, which allows us to search for different things. And as you can see, we can sign in to link our history to our Google account. Now, this is kind of a common theme throughout the entire app because you can tie it to your Google account to essentially gain more information, and you can also have the same information display on other devices as well. So let's go ahead and cancel out of this really quick. And directly to the right of the search field, we have the directions button, which pops up here, and we can choose our mode of transportation at the top, and we can also choose our starting point and our destination, and you can easily flip them around simply by hitting the arrow button to the right of those fields. And down below at the bottom, it says to get here faster, see your home and work for quick access. And you can do this by signing in to your Google account, which I said is present throughout most of the application. So let's go ahead and cancel out of that. And even to the right of that, we can go ahead and access our profile, which of course you get that by signing in. And zooming in here, you'll notice we have a settings button at the top. And from here, you'll be able to sign into your profile. You can send feedback. You can enable Shake to send feedback. You can get tutorials and help. And you can also access the about, terms, and privacy information. Let's go ahead and just go back to the main section though. Down below here at the bottom, you will notice that you actually have the option to show your current location, which I actually have location services turned off, so it won't do that right now. Now you'll also see a small little button over here in the right hand corner. That is actually to bring up this tray right here, which gives you a few different options. You can actually enable or disable traffic. You can turn on public transit information. You can enable the satellite view, or you can switch over to Google Earth, which actually takes the current location you're in or the current city you're in, and it brings it over into Google Earth if you have the application downloaded. Now also, if you start at the edge, you can use two fingers and swipe over to also reveal the little tray. But I found that it's much easier to just go ahead and grab that button and swipe over, because it doesn't always access it when you use two fingers to swipe. Now also up here in the top right hand corner, you will notice that if you are not facing north, you get a little compass right here, and you can go ahead and tap that and it will automatically point the map toward north. Now let's go ahead and switch over to Apple Maps really quick. Now you'll notice that a lot of it is very similar. Up here in the top left hand corner, we have the option to get directions. To the right of that, we have our search field, and even to the right of that, we have our recent locations. And down at the bottom here, you do have the option to flip the map up, and you can drop a pin, show traffic, you can print the map, you can get a standard view, hybrid view, or satellite view. And to the left of that, we can show our current location, which again will not work because I have location services turned off. And we have the added option to enable 3D, which can't actually be done inside of the Google Maps app. Instead, you have to go ahead and swipe over and go Google Earth, and then you can have the option to view 3D buildings. However, I found that Google doesn't have a lot of the places or a lot of destinations actually mapped in 3D. So if you're looking to actually enable 3D, your best bet is to probably use Apple Maps. However, that's not really the point of the Google Maps app replacement. What you're essentially trying to do is get better directions and get better information, as well as the added option of Street View. So let's actually get into that right now. Switching back, let's go ahead and search for something based on location. So I'm just going to go to the top here, and I'm going to try and find restaurants in New York City. So as you can see, now I have the option to search for restaurants in New York City, New York. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Now it'll bring you over to the location, and it'll highlight all of the restaurants with these small orangish red pins, and the one that it's currently on has a bigger pin, and you can easily identify it. So now it has the name of the restaurant restaurant, down at the bottom, it has its score and the price range for the specific restaurant. Now to the right, you can easily tap route, or you can simply swipe up and you get more information. So you get the time the restaurant's open, you get the actual location, including the address. You can call it, you can save the restaurant, you can share it, which when you hit the share menu, it brings you to another menu where you can message it, mail it, copy it to the clipboard, or simply cancel. Now, if you message or mail it, it will essentially send the URL to actually bring the person to the specific POI or point of interest inside of Safari or whatever browser they may be using once they click on the link. So let's go ahead and cancel that. You can also get some images here if you tap on the photos portion, and you can easily swipe through them. As you can see, it was added by a Google user. Let's go ahead and hit back to that. And you can also get the street view for the specific location. So I'll get into street view more in a second. Let's go ahead and go back for now. You can access the website, you can find a table, you can access the menu, you can get more information about the restaurant, and of course you have reviews at the very bottom from Google users. All right, so say the restaurant isn't exactly what you want, you can go down to this little bottom banner area and you can swipe over to view other restaurants. And as you can see, the pin on the map changes accordingly depending on which one it actually goes to. So then, of course, you can either route to it or you can swipe up and you can access all of the information I just went over. So let's actually go over the street view really quick and then we'll get into directions, and that'll conclude this video. All right, so I'm just going to go to the Empire State Building. Let's go ahead and bring that up here. And again, we can swipe up and get the street view for the location. Now, street view works amazing in the Google Maps app, and it pulls the same exact information that the Google Maps app did prior to the release of iOS 6 and the replacement of Google Maps with Apple's in-house mapping app. So again, we're getting the same information here. Of course, we can swipe around, we can view buildings, we can swipe forward to go to other streets, to go ahead in the streets, and to view other locations. Now let's go ahead and go back really quick. Now a simple tap will reveal more details for the location. You can tap the button in the bottom left-hand corner, and that should enable the option to actually be able to move your device around, and it will change accordingly on the screen. However, that doesn't appear to be working for me right now. All right, now I actually switched to a different destination here. I went to Los Angeles, and I tried to enable it again. It simply isn't working for me right now. I have gotten it to work before though, but that seems to be an issue. If you encounter any issues, you can go ahead and easily send feedback. By default, you can just shake your device and it will automatically prompt you to send feedback. So let's go ahead and shake it right now, and I'll just give you a quick demonstration. So right here, we can send feedback directly to Google. However, I'm not going to go through the entire process right now, but if you wanted to, you can go ahead and report any issues you encounter while using the application. All right, so now let's go ahead and just look at directions. All right, so as I mentioned, you can tap this button right here to the right of the search field, and you can enter your starting location and your destination, and it will give you directions. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I've actually entered Los Angeles, California to New York City, New York, which of course will definitely be a long trip, but I'm just doing it to show you guys. Of course, down below at the bottom bar here, it tells you approximately how long it will take, how many miles it is, and the route you're going to take. Of course, you can change the route simply by tapping on it on screen. All of the other available routes are in gray. You can, of course, swipe up from the bottom bar here, and it gives you an overview of the directions. Let's go ahead and swipe back down, and it allows you to actually preview the route you're going to take. So let's go ahead and hit preview, and it will tell you the directions. Now you can, of course, swipe forward, and this is what it will look like when you're actually navigating. It does have voice guidance, so of course, if I was actually driving right now, it would be giving me these directions in real time, and it would be automatically updating. However, I'm just in the preview mode right now, and of course, this is what it'll look like. It'll say you want to turn left in the next 100 feet, and it'll tell you the street name as well. So this is just a really great and simple, clean interface. It's actually very similar to the Apple Maps interface. We can go ahead and switch over to that now, and I'll show you the same exact thing. All right, so here inside of the native Apple Maps, again, it does look very similar. We have our starting point here, Los Angeles, California, and our destination here on the right, New York City, New York. We can again choose our routes, and all you have to do is just tap on them on screen, and it will automatically select it. Now you can get the detailed information on your route simply by tapping the button down below at the left there, and it will give you the directions, step-by-step directions. So we can go ahead and hit done there, and if we want to actually proceed, we can hit start, and it will automatically start our route. Like I said, it does look very similar to the Google Maps application. However, I prefer the way the Apple Maps application looks. Again, that's just personal preference. Functionality is an entirely different story. Now, of course, Google Maps has been around much longer stronger than Apple's own in-house mapping solution. You will get more accurate information. However, it all depends on where you are and which cities Apple has started to perfect first. So results could vary based on you depending on location. However, for now, it's safe to say that if you use Google Maps, you won't go wrong. All right, so I hope you guys liked this video. Again, just giving you an overview of the new Google Maps app for iOS that's now available to download inside of Apple's App Store. Again, don't forget to rate it up if you liked it, and to enter the giveaway, leave a comment down below in the comment section with the key phrase free iPad mini contest, and you'll automatically be entered to win Apple's new iPad mini tablet. And of course, don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and add me to one of your circles inside of Google Plus for more updates. And until next time, this is ICU signing out.